Okay, this class was donated in the Ilu Nishmat of Tzach ben Elana. So every word we should say should be for the raising of his soul. So shading for his soul, Baruch Hashem. We are actually back after a little bit of a long week break. No, last week we spoke on Tuesday. We had Thursday off because of the fast, and we didn't see each other. So obviously we missed everybody over here. Actually, during the week, someone told me I have to mention this because I saw that people are asking. So if anyone is wondering where the shiur is, 6363 Avenue U, Brooklyn, New York, 11234. And we had to do Rabbi Plachi style, we had to hit them with the address on the video. Somebody said he called me the last week, where's the shiur? So Baruch Hashem, now you guys know. Again, 6363 Avenue U. Hashem will see you guys every week. So obviously we had a little bit of a break, and we haven't seen each other since Tisha B'Av. And Wednesday was Tu B'Av, so we have a few things to talk about. So we're going to talk about a few things. We're going to backtrack a little bit, so bear with me. But eventually we'll get to Parashat Eikev. Don't worry, we'll get there. So obviously we know, post Tisha B'Av was last week. There's always a shiur I like to give over. Because we spoke about in the past, Tisha B'Av ends for us. And we move on, and we go back to the beach, we go back to the music, we go back to the whatever we're doing. But you have to understand something, that Tisha B'Av doesn't mark the end of the morning for HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We spoke about it, that in the previous weeks, Masechet Brachot says that every single night, HaKadosh Baruch Hu cries over the Churban, over the destruction of the Beit HaMikdash. And I heard a story, and I think this story beautifully illustrates the point. I said it for anyone who heard me speak on Shabbat, will hear the story again, but I think it's such a beautiful story. It was a story of an Avrech, a younger guy in his 20s. 20? A younger guy in his 20s looking for Shidduchim. He says, you know what, I'm going to start going on dates. He goes on a few dates, and the first one didn't really work out so well. Second one didn't really work out so well. And so on and so forth. Finally, he gets on a date, tells himself, this one, she's the one. He knew it right away. As soon as she walked in, he saw her, he said, this is the one. And she felt the same way. They went on a few dates, 5, 6 dates. They said, that's it. We're locking the deal. I know it's the one. They got married. They got everything. Baruch Hashem, was beautiful. They were married for 15 years. Unfortunately, no children. And in a freak accident while driving home one day, the wife, we should never know, not us, anyone, Am Yisrael. Unfortunately, a drunk driver ended up hitting her, and she ended up passing away. Now the husband, knowing that the wife doesn't have anyone to mourn over her, to do Kaddish over her, to do Shiva over her, took it upon himself to do Shiva for his belated wife. He said, I'm going to take it upon myself, I'm going to say Shiva, even though he didn't do it all the brachot and everything like that, but he tried to do it as much as he can to mourn for his wife as well, because who else is going to do it for her? And he mourned for her, and 7 days he's sitting down, he's mourning for her, and people hear about the news, and they come to visit, they pass by his house, and they give him words of consolement. 7 days. 7 brief days pass, and then after 1 year, they have the askara, they have the thing, he brings a few cookies, a few things for brachot, for the raising of a soul, and again, people come. And a brief 24 hours pass, and again, the man is left all alone. Everyone gets back to their regular life, go back to their children, back to their jobs, back to everything. And this man is left to come every single day and see the chair next to him empty. The same chair that he always used to spend 15 years with his beloved wife, the one that he loves so much in the whole entire world. Now he has to come every single day and see that chair empty. And everyone else was there for him in that brief 24-hour period every single day. But the rest of the year, he doesn't stop for him. It's not like I get to go back to my life now. No, he has to come home every single day and see that empty chair is sitting next to him. And think about all the memories he had, all the good times they had. All he sees is an empty chair, an empty slot in the bed. This is exactly what is going on with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Exactly the same thing. The Beit HaMikdash was destroyed, and what does HaKadosh Baruch Hu see? He sees Yerushalayim, he sees destroyed. What does he see? An empty spot where his wife used to be, his home used to be. And we come once a year, we mourn with him. We show him that, we're mourning with you for a day, and a brief 24 hours pass by so quickly, and then we go back to our regular lives. Then you catch the guy on Friday on the jet ski, you catch the guy on the boat. Like someone called me this week. I don't know if I said it last week. No, I didn't say. Somebody called me last week on Friday morning. He said, listen, Tisha B'Av's over. Can I go on the boat today? It's Friday, the 10th of Av. Can I go on the boat today? I want to go on the water tube. I want to go on the jet ski. I told them, Masechet Ta'anit relates the 10th of Av is really the majority of the destruction. The day after was majority of the destruction. The guy's already calling, can I go on the boat? Can I go on this? We're so fast to move on from it. But understand that Kosh Baruch Hu is coming home every day and looking at an empty spot next to him. Imagine how he's feeling. Imagine to come home, Chas v'Shalom, never know. But every single day they come and see an empty spot in the bed. Feel that pain every single day. So what can we do to show him, okay, you know what? It doesn't end at Tisha B'Av. It doesn't end over here. How can we do something? How can we implement something That we show you, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that we're not just done mourning, Tisha B'Av passed, and that's it, we're done. We're not thinking about Chorban, we're not thinking about Beit Mikdash, we're not thinking about nothing. We're thinking about what's the next Rafla, what's the next fun thing to do, when's the next barbecue. We'll show you one thing, what we can do, and I think it's one thing that every single person can do, implement. It's actually something that's realistic and practical every single day. B'yad Hashem, everyone prays every day. And when you pray, you have an Amidah. Everyone prays Amidah. And if you pray in Shul, you pray 3 times a day. Shacharit, Mincha, Arvit. Even if you pray at home, Shacharit, Mincha, Arvit. We have 3 times a day. And we have one tefillah that we say, Bonei Yerushalayim. The building of Yerushalayim. Also we say the Birkat HaMazon. One thing a person can do that's practical is every single time he says this bracha to have a little bit more kavanah. To have a little bit more intention in that prayer. Why? Because a person might think to himself, listen, how many years we've been praying? This year marked 1,955 years since the destruction of the Beit HaMikdash. You can come and tell yourself, hello, what's my tefillah going to do? They've been praying for 1,955 years, and we know, the further we get from Har Sinai, the less we get in level. What are we going to do? What's our tefillah going to do? Bigger people than us prayed in the whole entire world. Bigger tzaddikim than us prayed. Hamavadia and Tisha B'Av, I saw a video of him crying tears. Tzaddikim would pray, and we're sitting over here, and what's my tefillah going to do? But you know, if you know tefillah, how it works, the way tefillah works is every tefillah is like water that goes into the bucket. Any person ever went to the water park, they have that bucket that fills up, and every, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, and it fills up all the way to the top, and boom, falls down. So to tefillah. A person is never going to know which one of his prayers is going to be the one to tip the barrel. Which one of his prayers is going to tip the scales to bring the Beit HaMikdash. How do we know? What usually follows Tisha B'Av? Parashat Vayitchanan. The parasha that starts with Itchanan. What does it mean, Itchanan? To beg. What is the beg? So the Farshim explain. What did Moshe Rabbeinu beg for? Moshe begged Hashem for something. What did he beg him? He begged him to go into Eretz Yisrael. How many times? What's the Gematria of Vayitchanan? 515 times. 515 times Moshe Rabbeinu prayed to go into Eretz Yisrael. And the Midrash relates, every single time he prayed a different way. Every time a different sibah, a different reasoning, not the same prayer. 515 times. And guess what? Hashem anticipated. He said, I know he's gonna pray to go into Israel. So what is he going to do? He went to the Malachim, went to the angels, told them, close the door. I don't want you accepting his prayers. Close the door to the gates of the tefillah. Close the gates of prayer. I don't want to accept this prayer. At the 515th time, Hashem comes down to Moshe and says, stop, don't pray one more. Because if you're going to pray one more, even though I don't want to let you, Bal Kochi, against my will, I have to answer you 516 times. One more time. What did that teach us? Even if HaKadosh Baruch Hu doesn't want something to happen, there is a certain amount of tefillot against HaKadosh Baruch Hu's will that even against all odds, the water can tip. And you never know which one that is. Moshe, Hashem came and told him, this is the one. But for us, he's going to come and tell us? No. So don't get discouraged. Keep on praying, but have a little more intention in your prayers. The person knew how he would pray. The Or Chaim says, how did Moshe Rabbeinu come to pray to Hashem? Kumo ani dofek badelit. Like a poor person coming to your door, meaning to say, I have nowhere else to go. I need something to eat. Moshe Rabbeinu came to Hashem, he's crying out to him, Hashem, I don't have anywhere else to turn. I have nothing else to do in my life. I need an answer, I need a Yeshua, I need to go into Israel. I have no one else to rely on but you. That's the most powerful tefillah in the whole entire world. That's a tefillah that has the ability to rip open the gates. I heard a story last year. Real story, beautiful story. One of the most powerful stories I've heard in my life. About a woman, Rav Yigal Cohen says the story over. About a certain gvir, a certain gabbai of a shul, who told him the story himself. It happened to him that he met this woman. There was a certain woman at Israel. 16 years she wasn't able to have children. Can you imagine? 16 years she wasn't able to have a child. Every procedure, everything you could possibly imagine. She went to the doctor. Everyone told her, listen, you have a T-shaped uterus. It's not happening. No matter what you're going to try. Eventually she hears about a certain procedure that has the potential to maybe give her birth. To maybe make her have children. How much? $10,000 per procedure. And she can do up to 8 of them. She's looking at herself as $10,000. Where am I going to get $10,000 from? Let alone if I need $80,000. She starts going around, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? 16 years coming home, the house is empty. I don't have any children. I don't have anyone there. What am I going to do? She hears of a certain gabbai. This is the gabbai I told Rabbi Yigal Cohen the story. Who is known for giving out money. She comes knocking on the gabbai's door. The gabbai opens the door. She tells him her story. 16 years, no children, procedure. She says, I need $10,000. They could do up to 8 of them. He says, listen. I'll give you the money for one procedure, $10,000 on me, but on one condition. There's a certain rabbi in Haifa. I'm very close. This is the late rabbi. I was very close with his family. I want you to go over there and I want you to pray his Kevin. The woman says, okay, I'll go. Now what the gabbai didn't know, what the guy who was giving out the money didn't know, Who else was buried in that same, graveyard? Her father. This woman's father. She went to pray at that rabbi as the rabbi told her. And from there, where did she go? Straight to her father's grave. And she recorded herself praying. If I tell you the way that this prayer was, it's the most powerful thing I ever heard in my life. When I said that I need defek badelet, like a poor person knocking on the door, you can hear the pain and the agony in her voice as she's praying. And she's screaming out, Abba! She's screaming out. Screaming out. You never heard pain like that in your whole entire life. I'll show you guys the recording if you guys want after the class, come to me. Abba! Tears in her eye. I can't do it anymore. I come home, the house, choshech. I only see darkness. I don't see nothing. I see my cousins. I see my friends. I see everyone that have children 16 years out. I have nowhere else to go. I have nowhere else to turn. Crying, tears, and pain you can never imagine. Guess what? Last week's Parashat Eikev, a year ago, was the breath of a baby boy. If a person understood what his tefillah can do, when he comes to Hashem and he comes knocking on the door of Hashem, he says, I don't have anywhere else to turn. I have nowhere else to go but to come to you. I have nowhere else to go. Guess what? That tefillah, 16 years she was praying. 16 years she didn't stop praying, but that one tefillah, with all the power, with everything she had, that one tefillah was the one that tipped the scales. Was the one that says, now the water finally fell over. A person understood what was the power of what he could do. Just with a little bit of opening his mouth. Just talk like Kadosh Baruch Hu. Sit down and have a conversation with him. Sit down and I can't do it. I have no one else to turn. I have no one else but you. Just talk to him. If you know what you could do just by sitting down and talk to him. How many people come to me, I'm going through something. And you know what I want to tell them? Some people don't want to accept, but you know what you want to tell them? Why are you calling me? Hang up the phone, sit down by yourself, get to the corner, something like that. Sit down, have a conversation with Kadosh Baruch Hu. Cry out to Hashem. Who else can help you but him? No, it's this, it's that. Who cares? Sit down, you and Kadosh Baruch Hu. You never know. Kadosh Baruch Hu is going to... One tefillah, that's all it takes. One tefillah. We also cannot forget something that also follows Tisha B'Av, Tu B'Av, the 15th of Av. The Mishnah in Ta'anit says, there's no greater days for the Jewish nation than 2 days. Tu B'Av, the 15th of Av, which was passed on this Wednesday that we just passed, and Yom Kippurim, and the day Yom Kippur. There are 2 greatest days for the Jewish nation. Yom Kippur, why was it the greatest day for the Jewish nation? Because it's the day that marks that we were forgiven for the sin of the golden calf. Aval Tu B'Av, why was Tu B'Av the greatest, such on a high caliber that they compare it to, they put it on the same sentence as Yom Kippur? What happened on Tu B'Av that is such the greatest day in the whole entire world? Says the Mefarshim that on Tu B'Av we were forgiven for the sin of the spies. We talked about it before. That when the 10 spies came in to Eretz Israel, they gave reports about the land. It's a land that eats its inhabitants with ants in their eyes. We can never go in there. We're never going to win the war. And the whole nation cried on the night of Tisha B'Av. Hashem says, because on this night you cried for free, I'll make it that every single night you cry for the rest of your life. And every year for 40 years while they were in the desert, on the 9th of Av, every single person from the age of 20 and up would go to the Midbar, would dig for themselves a grave. Everyone would get in. Everyone from the age of over 20 would get in. 15,000 of them every year wouldn't come back. 15,000 wouldn't come back. On the 15th, Tu B'Av, the 9th of Av, the year, after the 40th year, they came into the grave and they waited. Nothing. 10th of Av, they didn't leave. 10th of Av, they waited. 11th of Av, nothing happened. 12th of Av, 13th. 15th of Av marks the day when it actually came up. When the plague of them dying ended. What's so great about this day? Says the commentary, what happened in Tu B'Av? So we see later on in Tu B'Av, there was a time in history when the Jewish nation did a cherem. They excommunicated one shevet, one tribe of the Jewish tribes. Which one? Binyamin. They said, we're not going to marry anyone from Shevet Binyamin. We're not going to marry anyone from Shevet Binyamin. And Tu B'Av marked the day where they finally came back and said, you know what? We accept to marry you again. And not only that, the same Mishnah that told us that it's the greatest day tells us the reason why. Because on this day was the day that women would go out to the streets and they would lend each other their clothing. Imagine a rich woman is lending a poor woman her dress because she's going to be equal in the eyes of the suitor. They're going to go out, they're going to meet a man and says, listen, we're all equal. They all came out wearing beautiful gowns. The rich would went to the poor so no one would look less than the other. It marks a day of love. It marks a day when we fix that which was broken. We know that Masechet Yomah, we talked about it in the past. What did it say? What was the reason that the second Beit HaMikdash was destroyed? Baseless hatred. That's the second reason, it was baseless hatred. How do we fix that? With love. Tu B'Av marks a day when we loved each other. When we loved each other. When we loved each other unconditionally in the highest level. When we were willing to give our clothing off our back for our brother, for our sisters, to go out. And when they go, a person is married, what are they thinking about? Imagine I come to you, I tell you now you're going on a couple dates, you're going to a shidduch event now, they have a singles event in Manhattan, over there, go, rooftop, cocktails, whatever, the whole 9 yards, I don't know how they do these things, yeah? Singles event, go, and I tell you, but your nicest clothing, don't wear it, you're going to give it to your boy. And you're going to wear the, over there, whatever else you got. Huh? So what are you talking about? I'm going out for dates now. I also want to get picked, no? Who's thinking, I also want to get picked, no? I want to wear whatever I got in the crib, leave me alone, achi. Ima, efalui. Huh? Right away he wants to put on the nicest clothing he has. Imagine now giving away your nicest clothing and say, no, I want you to wear. You know why? Because I want us all to be equal. I want when we all come out, I want us all to be equal. And that way the person who picks, Shekir achen ve'evel hayofi. We say every Shabbat, and Shlomo Melech in his Chochmato, Shekir achen ve'evel hayofi, Neshet Chayil. Shekir achen ve'evel hayofi says, the beauty and the valor and the beauty of a woman, all these, the charm and the beauty, it's a lie. Isha yirat Hashem itatal. A woman who's a woman who has fear of God in her, that's a woman that you praise. Today, most people, they go on shidduchim, they go on dates. What are they looking for? How she look when she walks in, huh? One guy told me, my mom set me up on a date. So as soon as the woman came out of the house, I wanted to drive off. No, my friend, wrong address. This is my Uber. Bye-bye. Huh? As soon as she came out the door, he says, Ima, what'd you set me up with over here? Maze, I told you I don't want to see a picture. I didn't say I don't want to see my life. Maze, what'd you set me up with over here? Right? The guy said, go. What are you looking for? What's the first thing in their mind? How pretty is the girl? How beautiful is she going to be? What kind of house she's in? Is that a frustar? Is not frustar? What kind of lifestyle is she looking for? And the girl, what car did he come in? What belt was he wearing? How far back is his hairline? What are we talking? How many years we got left on that hairline? Huh? That's what they want to know. Huh? They only care about the looks. But the reality is, there's one thing that's more important than anything on the entire world. It's the midot, it's the character traits. When a guy gets married to a girl, imagine that you get married to the most beautiful woman in the whole entire world, but every time you come home, patuf chamutz, a sour face. Every time you come home, and everything she does, she complains. She cleans the floor, complains. She does the laundry, complains. She cooks the food, complains. With the kids, complains. You come home, you're like, how should I marry over you? I don't care what you look like. I can't even stand the sight of her. Huh? He's already waiting to walk out the door. Huh? All of a sudden, he calls all his boys. As soon as he walks into the house, he calls everyone, who's chilling tonight? I got to get out the house. I need to see about to get out the house. So what's all worth of the beauty if you don't have the midot, you don't have the character traits inside? So they told him, listen, forget the clothing, forget the stupidity. Marry a woman for what she's worth. But because the perception is skewed, they all wore the same, something beautiful, something similar. They lent each other the dresses. They all look exactly the same. Everyone will be on the same level. Why? So everyone, when you come to marry me for what's true, what's inside. Not the designer of my dress, and not the company of my belt or my shoes. And this day marks the day of love. But how do we get to the point where we all really love each other? Obviously, when you have friends, or you're bored with a guy, or you meet him and you have a good conversation, you love him. Of course. What's the problem? It's easy to love people who are friendly with you. But to love every single Jew means to love everybody. The guy in the office who gives you the corner of the eye, the guy who treats you not so nice in the office, the guy who cut you off, you went to the restaurant and the guy who was working by the counter, mashkiach, talked to you not nice, you have to love him also. Everyone. You have to love every single one of them. The ones that are close, easy. Who can? You tell me now, love everyone in this room? Because it's not a problem. Fakif, I love everybody in here. No problem. But tell me now, go to someone else and love everybody over there. It'd be very hard for me. Certain places. Baruch Hashem, I'm working on it. Well, that's the idea. We have to get to the point. But how do we get there? If I told you now, this is what this week's parasha talks about it. It starts with, Vaya Eikev Tishmeun. And it will be that if you hearken to listen and to do the mishpatim of God, the will of God, these commandments of God, then God will bring upon you all these blessings. The word Eikev. What does the word Eikev mean? In English, translate to me. Eikev means heal. If you listen, that's it. Why have Eikev in there? So Rashi asked this question. What do you say? Eikev, resembling the heel. Why the heel? Because the heel resembles the things that you push off. The small mitzvot, the small little things that you push off. And what's the connection? Rashi is teaching you a secret to life. You want to be successful in life? A person who's always thinking about the big goal, he's never going to get there. I'm not going to do it. But when you think about the small steps along the way, that's going to make you over there. That's what's going to get you to the highest. But the small steps take you to the greatest places. A person who thinks about opening up a new business now. Imagine now you come up with an idea. Let's open up a business. I'm not going to say because I'll keep it for myself for later. You open up a business, Whatever it is. I have a few in my mind, but maybe after. Open up a business. Now what are you thinking in your head? What about the place and the mazganim and the HVAC and the electricity and bringing this oil and where's this money going to come from? And am I going to get the merchandise? Or which warehouse am I going to go? I have to fight a truck. If you think about all these things, what are you going to do? I'm not opening up things. Leave me alone. And that's it. But if a person says, I'm going to open up a business, it's okay. Let's take one small step. He goes online. He goes to llcform.com or whatever the thing is. Makes an LLC. Now he's committed. And then the next day he says, you know what? Let's try and go out and see if we have some friends who are interested in this idea. And just one small step at a time. Guess what? At the end of the day, have a business. And the other guy who thought about, I'm going to run a marathon now. Imagine you tell the guy now who never did cardio in his entire life, go run a marathon. I didn't run a marathon, I run a block. I sound like a donkey in the corner. What's the mean run a marathon? No, I'm serious. What's honestly one of the most powerful things I've heard. And I never said this in the class, and it wasn't to do with religion. I heard one heavy guy who lost a lot of weight. And I told him, why have you lost so much weight? He says, everyone used to tell me, you're heavy. Go run. Go do cardio. Go do HIIT. Go do I don't know what. Go do, what's that thing? CrossFit. Go do everything. Go do Pilates. He says, I need 330 pounds, What do you want from me, Pilates? Imagine me. Imagine that, Everyone in the room is going to be dying over there for my size. I'm so big, the moon orbits around me. So what's your success? He says, you know what I'm going to do? I'm not going to run. I'm not going to jog. I'm not going to go on the elliptical. I'm not going to go on the Stairmaster. I'm not going to I'm not even going to step foot into the gym. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to walk. I'm just going to walk. I'm going to go outside. I'm going to take one step. I'm going to walk. And guess what? The guy lost 150 pounds from walking. That's the only cardio I do. How many steps I did today, AB? Tell them. How many steps? What was it? 17,000 steps today. And yesterday 13, and the year 15. That's not me, it's my wife. But you want to make the wife happy, you come home from work, so where are we going? To the park. You have to take the kids, I can run around with the kids. But this is how you lose. All you got to do. Cardio is the only thing you got to do. One step, take a step. But you tell the guy, now go run, go do this, go do that. He's never going to do it. If you think about the gigantic goal, you're never going to get there. So if I tell you now, go love every single Jew, it's impossible for me to love every single Jew. You know how many Jews there are in the world? Go figure out how many Jews there are in the world. Go love everything. What's it going to do? But if you thought about something as small as just a little action, every single person in the world that I see, that I think is a Jew, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to give him a smile. I'm going to tell him hello. You walk in the street, just come tell him. That's it. Something as small as that. I guarantee you, just that small action of the chiyuch and the wave has the greatest impact. Greatest impact in the whole entire world. One time a girl came to me and told me, one of the moments of my life that I remember the most, she's a girl who was trying to become more religious, but she wasn't dressed the most modestly. And one time I was walking in the park, and this is such a powerful impact on me, it made me want to become more religious. I was walking in the park and I was, dressed the way I normally dress. Not so modestly. And a woman passed by, she was able to discern that I was a Jewish woman, religious woman, full, with the shtetl and the frak and the whole 9 yards. Straight from Buddha Park, exactly, all the way from over there with the chillin' and the kugel and the whole 9 yards, with a pound of sugar, I never understood why they put sugar in everything. Name one dish, Ashkenaz dish that doesn't have sugar. That's not such a thing, impossible. They put you sugar in the soap, man. Sugar in everything. Toothpaste, sugar. Why is sugar in toothpaste? You don't even swallow it. Sugar in everything. So, says a Hasidic woman saw me in the park, and she saw me. She waved to me. She told me hi, and that was it. I was the greatest thing that ever happened to me because the first time in my life I didn't feel like I was judged. I feel like I was accepted, and guess what? That made me want to become more religious. All it takes sometimes is a little bit of a smile and a wave. Those small little things have the biggest impact. Those small little steps are the ones that get you to the greatest places. There's once a story that Rav Yitzchak Fanger says almost every year, I think, on Tisha B'Av. It's a beautiful story. It's a real story that happened. There's a certain detective in San Francisco who's in charge of murder cases. Every murder case that comes down, Jewish guy, every murder case that comes down comes to his table. He has to go and investigate. There was a certain murder case in San Francisco a few years ago of a guy who jumped off the San Francisco bridge. Came and jumped off the San Francisco bridge. When the detective came, he says, you want to know what the saddest part of the whole story was? He says, what, that the guy jumped off the bridge? He says, not really. He says, I'll tell you what the saddest part of the whole story is. When we went to his apartment after, we found the suicide note. We found the suicide note. And what did it say on the suicide note? I'm going today to jump off the San Francisco bridge. But if one person stops me, says hello, gives me a smile, or tells me do not do it, I won't jump. The saddest thing in the whole entire world is that this man was walking all the way to the bridge and not one person stopped to give him a smile. Not one person stopped to say, hi. Because it's the little things. If you thought for a second now that your smile was going to save a person's life, would you smile at everybody? You smile at everybody. But do you know what another person is going through? You know what a smile can do to another person? It's the small things that count. It's the small things that make the greatest changes. All you have to do is start with a smile. Every single Jew you meet, give him a smile, give him a wave, and I guarantee you the love will grow from there. That's how we reach the highest level, with the small step. That's what this Parashat is telling us. Eikev, the heel, the things you brush off, the things that are, what's a smile going to do? It's only the big things that matter. It's the small things that are going to get you to the greatest place. That's what Rashi is telling us. That's what this Parashat is telling us, that if we want to get there, we want to show HaKadosh Baruch Hu, we didn't forget you, we want to bring back your home, we want to do exactly what we need to do to get back to the place we need to be, then we'll start with the small steps. We'll wake up tomorrow and do one small thing. We'll smile at every single Jew that we see. And I guarantee you from there we'll have the zchut, the next Shabbat Av, with the Beit HaMikdash. Amen.